Hello and welcome to the channel. President Buhari has defended its decision to remain quiet over allegations against the electoral body INEC during the presidential election. The recently concluded election was flawed in every ramification of the word, and yet the president has chosen to remain mute about it. But in a statement yesterday, Buhari spoke on the issue. To hear what Baba said, let's start first by subscribing, like, share, and comment also. Thank you. Why Buhari is quiet over allegations of irregularities against INEC presidency. The presidency on Thursday gave the reason why President Muhammadu Buhari kept silent when there were allegations of irregularities and compromise against the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC on the conduct of the February 25th presidential and National Assembly elections. The presidency also ruled out the possibility of taking any decision that would lead to the annulment of the presidential elections, as was the case of June 12, 1992. It advised any candidate or political party that is not satisfied with the conduct and outcome of the election to approach the court for redress. These were contained in a report by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, titled, "At the 5th United Nations Conference on Least Developed Countries, LDCs, President Buhari drums up support for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency." Before the elections, President Buhari had different fora, both local and international, assured that he would ensure that the elections that would herald his exit from office would be credible, free, fair, and transparent, and that the outcome would reflect the wish of the people in choosing who would lead them. The signing into the law, the Electoral Act 2022, and the use of technology for the elections were indications that President Buhari was ready to bequeath to the Nigeria people a transparent electoral process devoid of manipulations. However, controversies have trailed the conduct and outcome of the February 25th presidential election, as INEC has been accused to have failed to follow strictly the Electoral Act as regards the transmission of the results from the beavers to the IREV immediately after collation at the polling units. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was the first to raise the alarm that INEC had compromised the conduct of the election by not keeping to the electoral laws and had, in a statement, called on President Buhari to call the electoral umpire to order so that the country will not be thrown into political crisis. There has also been plethora of negative reports from a section of international news media casting aspersions on the conduct of the election, saying that it fell flat from the expectations of majority of the electorate. But the presidential spokesman, in what could be said to be the takeaways he listed from the president's participation at the LDC's conference in Doha, Qatar, said that Buhari, while speaking to Nigerians in the diaspora about the ongoing political transition, called for support for the incoming government of Asiwaju Tinubu so that Nigeria will continue to be the beacon of hope and prosperity in our continent and an example for other African countries to emulate. He further said, in addition to other things, this trip, more than any other, speaks to the courage, political stamina, and statesmanship with which the president has managed the affairs of the nation. In the build-up to the trip, he was faced with orchestrated attempts to poison public opinion against national institutions, particularly the presidential election and its conduct by the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC as an institution, against which vile and unsubstantiated allegations were hurled. The clear intent of this was creating an atmosphere of fear, polarizing the public, and demonizing the administration of the president. The wishful thinkers appear to assume that the June 12, 1993 election crisis, the worst ever since the Civil War, could be recreated. Those who sought to do this forget what the president said at the Palace of the Bong, Guan, Jos, when he went to the city to inaugurate the Tinubu-Shettima campaign. This election will not be annulled. Whoever is the winner will be president, he said. He also said President Buhari not only muted himself following the cacophony, he picked up international travel. Bola Tinubu's election stands. If you are aggrieved and you have the locals to do so, go to court. Continuing, he said, President Buhari used the opportunity of the visit to speak to his guest about the recent election in Nigeria and the fact that a new president will be taking over in less than 3 months. He hoped that the strong relations he had built between those countries will continue to endure in the new administration. The highlight of the conference for Nigeria was the national address on the theme of this year's event, From Potential to Prosperity, a speech that observers described as strikingly activist. In it, the president criticized the current structure of the global financial system, which he said places an unsustainable external debt burden on the most vulnerable countries. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. In related development, the Rolling All Progressives Congress APC has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to preserve and protect the integrity of the extracted data from the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System (BVAS). APC, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Barrister Felix Moka, enjoined INEC to use the opportunity presented by the election postponement to address any gaps identified in the presidential election in order to avoid a recurrence in the March 18 election. Expressing support over the shift of the governorship and state assemblies election, the party insisted that its presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, won the poll in a free and fair manner. It noted, even as presidential candidates and their political parties explore and exercise their constitutional liberty to challenge or defend the outcome of the presidential and National Assembly elections, we must remind ourselves of the overriding duty that we bear to eschew conduct and action capable of undermining the peace of our country or imperil the capacity of INEC to conduct the upcoming gubernatorial and state assembly elections. Our candidate, now President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, emerged as the overwhelming choice of Nigerians in the presidential election, which was free, fair, and in substantial compliance with the Electoral Act and INEC guidelines for the 2023 general elections. We are thankful for our renewed presidential mandate and urge our supporters and indeed all Nigerians to double down on their support for our great party on its candidates in the upcoming gubernatorial and state assembly election. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.